rise for a pledge to the flag. Please remain standing for a moment of silence for all our military personnel serving here and abroad and those suffering from the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated.
Notice requirements of the Open Public Meeting Law have been satisfied concerning this meeting. The Home Tribune and Star Ledger published a notice on December 10, 2021. A copy of the schedule was posted on the municipal bulletin board. It should be so noted in the minutes of this meeting. Councilman Spiller.
Here.
Councilwoman Meehan.
Here.
Councilman Patel. Councilman Anderson. Councilwoman De Jesus.
Here.
Councilman Small. Here. Councilwoman McCullough. Vice President Ficarra.
Here.
And President Bauer.
Here.
Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from February 15, 2022?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Beginning with second reading ordinances this evening, you have one, which is the adoption of the KSB 10 Smith Street, Crow's Mill Road redevelopment plan. Can I get a motion that this ordinance be taken up on second and third reading and the public hearing be open?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. The public hearing is now open on letter A only.
Good evening, Tom Maris, Fords, New Jersey. Just like an explanation as to what the ordinance covers. It says that it relates to the redevelopment plan. Exactly what is that going to do? And is there housing involved, or what does it consist of?
No housing involved. It's a piece of property off Smith Street. So there's old Smith Street that comes off of Smith Street, so one way.
Yeah.
Remember the old fee lunch that used to be up in that area?
Yes.
All right, there's a piece of teardrop property that we own, houses on Smith Street and the firehouse as part of the plan. We're under redevelopment, but there's no housing going in there. There'll be a warehouse.
So additional warehousing. Any idea of the scope of that warehousing? We've had some big ones coming in. That's why I'm asking.
This is Administrator.
I don't recall the exact number, but it's not the biggest one we've had. It's large. I can get that.
You can get it if you would like, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, I'll reach out and get it. Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
Thank you.
Any other comments on letter A only? Here are no other comments. Can I get a motion that the public hearing be closed, the ordinance be adopted and submitted to the mayor for approval as required by law?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. We also have one first reading this evening. Can I get a motion that this ordinance be passed on first reading, published in the Home News Tribune on Friday, March 4th, 2022, with notice of public hearing to be held on March 15th at 6 p.m. 2022.
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments from council? All in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. And you have before you, Mr. President, 27 items listed by resolution. Could I get a motion by consent to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Any questions or comments from council?
Mr. Mitch?
Yes.
I'm going to abstain from number 27.
Any other comments? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. It's yours, Mr. President.
Thank you. This time we'll go to the public portion of our meeting. Please state your name, part of the township or state you are from, and you have a one-time 5-minute time period. Remember, all video taking must be taken within the designated area in the rear of the room. There will be no shouting out from your seat. Please respect each other. Please make sure all signs or posters do not block walkway aisles. Thank you.
Hello, Mr. President. Ken Gardner, 101 Scoter Avenue, Woodbridge. I've talked for the last couple of months about the fire commissioner's election, and I lost the election. I want to congratulate Jay Barcelona and Bob Minkler for winning the election. About the same number of people have come out and contested elections there before. About 1,300 voters came out, so that's a relatively small number for the size of the fire district. I think there's 13,000 voters or so a small percentage. But I want to congratulate them and wish them good luck. And luckily, it's March, and there's some other things to keep me busy. So thank you and have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Gordon.
Any other comments from the public this evening? Here are no other public comment. Can I get a motion that the public comment portion be closed?
Good evening. James Dabrowski, Woodbridge proper. On February 23rd, the Perth Amboy Area Branch NAACP released the following joint statement. We, the undersigned organizations, unequivocally denounce the Proud Boys and condemn their hateful public comments made at the December 14th Woodbridge Township, New Jersey Council meeting. We call for the elected and appointed officials of Woodbridge Township to join us in standing against this designated terrorist hate. While it was encouraging to learn that 2 members of the Woodbridge Human Rights Commission had the conscience and courage to publicly denounce the Proud Boys on the record at their February 7th HRC meeting, it was discouraging to learn that the Proud Boys showed up in even larger numbers to the February 15th Woodbridge Council meeting, and that they were yet again welcomed by certain members in attendance. One self-identified member of the Proud Boys again spoke anonymously during public comments, wearing a Proud Boys POW J6 2021 You Are Not Forgotten shirt, disgracefully comparing those rightfully arrested for the deadly January 6th Capitol insurrection to our nation's military prisoners of war missing in action. As expressed by the chair of the Woodbridge Human Rights Commission, the Proud Boys' involvement in the January 6th insurrection alone should be enough to denounce them. Combined with the fact that the Proud Boys have been designated a hate group by both the Southern Poverty Law Center and the Anti-Defamation League, and also classified as a terrorist entity by the Canadian government, a refusal by community leaders to denounce them would be immoral, irresponsible, and inexcusable. And as the students of the Woodbridge Township School District recite in their anti-racism pledge, I pledge to honor and embrace diversity and to stand against racism wherever it appears. Our elected and appointed officials must be held to the same standard that we hold our children and stand against this hateful attack on Woodbridge. We call on Woodbridge leaders to follow the example of other communities targeted by the Proud Boys, such as Rockville Center, New York, and the Orange County Schools District, North Carolina, that had the conscience and courage to denounce this defined terrorist hate group and make it clear that they are not welcome, that hate has no home in Woodbridge Township. Sincerely, NAACP Perth Amboy Area Branch, Woodbridge Youth for Liberation and Equity, Positive Change Woodbridge, NAACP Rawway Branch, Southern Burlington County NJ NAACP, NAACP New Brunswick Area Branch, NAACP Metuchen Edison Area Branch, Black Community Watch Line, NJ21 United. We received the following response on February 25th from Senator Joe Vitale's office. Hi, I hope you are well. Thank you, and please thank the other organizations that signed on to this letter. I had no idea that Proud Boys had been to the Woodbridge Council meetings, and I since heard they also went to BOE meetings. No, we have been buried by such a high volume of constituents who need help with unemployment claims and other state government programs. I am sorry that this is the first time I heard about what happened. When I read your email, I immediately watched the videos from the meetings, and I couldn't believe my eyes. Terrifying. I spoke with Senator Vitale, Speaker Coughlin, and Assemblywoman Lopez, and they issued a statement yesterday. Please see their statement copied below. Please keep me posted if anything else happens. Thank you. News from the 19th Legislative District, for release, February 24th, 2022. Vitale, Coughlin, and Lopez joint statement denouncing local presence of extremist hate group, Woodbridge. Senator Joseph F. Vitale, Speaker Craig Coughlin, and Assemblywoman Yvonne Lopez, all Democrats, Middlesex, issued the following joint statement regarding the presence of members of the Proud Boys attending Woodbridge Township Council meetings. We denounce groups that spread hate and seek to divide us. Extremist groups like the Proud Boys will not find support from us or from our community. We released another statement yesterday, February 28th. The Perth Amboy Area Branch NAACP would like to acknowledge Senator Joe Vitale, Assembly Speaker Craig Coughlin, and Assemblywoman Yvonne Lopez for issuing a joint statement denouncing the terrifying presence of the Proud Boys in Woodbridge Township. It is reassuring to know that when local officials fail to stand up against hatred, we can count on our state leaders to set the example. As reported on February 23rd by the Woodbridge Patch News, for months now, some Woodbridge residents, including members of the NAACP, have been calling on Woodbridge Mayor John McCormick and other township officials to denounce the Proud Boys. So far, McCormick has refused and appears to ignore their requests. The article continues. In response to the NAACP's request this week, McCormick said in a statement given through a spokesman, the Township of Woodbridge denounces hatred in all forms and in all venues. It goes without saying that hate has no place in Woodbridge. It is very disappointing that it took a joint statement from civil rights organizations in order to get a response, which was only given through a spokesperson to the media rather than replying to the email sent from the Perth Amboy Area Branch NAACP. Woodbridge Township officials' repeated refusal to denounce the Proud Boys is unacceptable. Silence is complicity, and we must never remain silent when a defined terrorist hate group targets our community, or any community. Moving forward, we sincerely hope that Woodbridge Township elected and appointed officials will begin meeting with the Perth Amboy Area Branch NAACP, as there is clearly much work to be done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brass.
Any other comments from the public this evening?
Good evening, Tom Maris, Fords, New Jersey. Well, once again, we hear from our friends, Black Lives Matter, berating a group that was here, conducted themselves with aplomb. Perhaps they don't like what they had to say. That's understandable. That group may not like to hear what they have to say. But the point being is that no government body, at least in this country, should block anybody from their First Amendment rights. And I salute this organization, this council, this administration for not doing that. You don't cave into somebody because they think they're in the right to the exclusion of somebody else's rights. And that's all the time I'm going to spend on that. I think the rest is pure hyperbole. When you go into terrifying presence, I wasn't afraid. I don't think anybody here was afraid. At least I hope not. There's no reason to be. But moving on, we all know what's going on in the world today, and it's tragic. To see what's happening overseas, it's frightening because it could happen here. Those people would never have believed it was going to happen to them. And one of the interesting things that I've garnered from it, and there's a lot to be seen on TV right now, is that that government was passing out arms to its citizens to protect their rights to their homes. And yet we live in a country where there are people in this country that would disarm this population. Again, that should be something that never happens. That's what keeps us free. That's what keeps the world free. And those people are begging for help right now. And I hope this nation will step up and help them in every way we can without leading to an all-out nuclear war. Finally, I have something else I've been questioning for quite some time. The funds that have been extended to the Arts Alliance, Avenel Arts Alliance. I finally got a response today, and I know I won't have enough time to go into it, but basically what it gave me is a response that all of the monies that have been owed up to a certain point of time by the Woodbridge Avenel Arts, the Avenel Arts Center, have been in fact waived to a certain point, and then the clock started again. And I'd like to know exactly how much money has been waived, how much money is now being accrued that still has not been repaid. And that was part of the Oprah request, but they lacked to give me any of that, including the fact that I did bring up there's $550 a month now being spent for parking facilities for the Avenel Arts, which the taxpayers of this town are bearing, not the Arts Center, and that is a separate corporation. It is not part of this township, it's a separate corporation, and yet we're funding them. And it's got to be the tune, as I brought out before, well over $2 million at this point. How are we going to get reimbursed, and when? And why is this allowed to happen? How can this council sit and allow that kind of expenditures? Yes, we all like better things in the town, but we can bring private businesses in that bring revenue, not take it out of our pockets. So I'd really like to get an answer on that, and I'd like a full accounting as to how much money has really been given and is being given to the Avenel Arts Center. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Now, you opened that request.
Yes, sir.
Did you receive an answer?
Yes, sir. What I got back was the revised contract that goes forth between the township and the Avenel Arts. I'll gladly share it with you. And I'm submitting another Oprah because I have others outstanding about the other things that I had brought up too, where we funded the printing of literature, and it was stuffed into envelopes using employees of the township. And I'm waiting to get a response on that as well.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Do you have anything on that?
No, thanks.
No, nothing. All right. Could you submit your Oprah, and if you have any questions, you can reach out to me.
I'm sorry, I have nothing back from the
You
administration.
have nothing from the administration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments from the public?
Frank Trumbador, Strawberry Hill Avenue in Woodbridge. Good evening, council. Hope everybody's well. I'm going to try and be as short as possible. I'm not going to bloviate too much. I am seeing a massive move toward electric vehicles. Do I think it's too soon? Yes. Why do I think it's too soon? Driving down a street, I see a black cable coming out of an apartment window about a ½ inch in diameter. It's going down the stairs, across the sidewalk, and into a car. Now, if you took an electric cord from here and powered a fan over there, OSHA would fine you if they caught you. Now, are we gonna have all these cords going across sidewalks all hours of the day and night our citizens, our kids, our dogs are walking. I don't have dogs, I don't care. But other people will be walking. Rain, snow, and please, I know what it's like to keep a car under electric in the winter. In the early 90s, I had a car that had to be plugged in because it was diesel. In order to keep the diesel from gelling, I had to plug it in. Well, there was one year in the early 90s that I put the cord out there, I think around January. I didn't see it again until April. You might remember that. We were getting a snowstorm every 2 days, if you remember that. My question to you is, has the council considered an ordinance on how are we going to handle these cables going across sidewalks? Not everybody has driveways. Not everybody has just one family in it. We are not a spread out suburban neighborhood. We're condensed in areas, we're an older neighborhood, and we're newer neighborhoods. I think the council, not give me an answer tonight, but I think it's something the council ought to mull over. Because if I believe I heard right from this morning, the news, is that Jeep will no longer be making gas vehicles as of 2025. So a lot of car manufacturers are committing themselves to something that may not work, but that's their problem. My other concern is energy costs have risen 250%. They skyrocketed very quickly. In fact, oil is well over 250% as of today. And so is nat gas. I'm concerned about the poor, and I'm concerned about the seniors. What are we going to do? How are we going to handle this? How are they going to handle this? You got seniors that are trying to decide between drugs, food, and heat. Do we have any programs for them? The poor are the ones that get hit the worst. Do we have any programs for them? I'm just asking if there's any way to make public, please do it, because there are people out there that are hurting, like mothers on television crying they don't have the money to get fruit for their children. So we really need to think about our citizens. I encourage people on the internet to buy something, dried beans, lentils, whatever. If your neighbors are getting hungry, you can hand them a bag of lentils, make soup. It's high protein. They can live for a few days on it. We got to think about each other. We got to think about our citizens. That's all I wanted to say. Good evening.
Thank you. And, yes.
Council President, if I can, two things in regards to that. Number one, our senior services throughout the COVID delivered food to seniors that were shut in. I know that some of us were part of that delivery, so I just wanted to point that out, Mr. Trumpeter. We don't go around bragging about it. The other thing is very interesting. Senior Services just came out with a beautiful, thick directory of all different services, products, and things that are open to the seniors. And I know that they're figuring out the best way to distribute that, but I'll make sure that I get you a copy since you've expressed the interest in that area.
I'd like to keep it out.
Got it. They're working on it now. As you can imagine, it's a pretty big project, but it's a very all-encompassing book.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking.
Evening. Paul Lund, Hope Lawn. I wanted to first acknowledge that the stop sign on the top of Lee Avenue is now vertical again. Thank you.
Thank you for letting us know.
I have a question. I understand, I got a little bit from the last time I made inquiry to operations here, that due to COVID and circumstances beyond municipal control, being profitable in Avenel Arts Center would be out of the question. Wouldn't expect that the club has fared any better under the circumstances. I was just curious though, the community center, has it been over this period of time net profitable, or is it a net cost to the taxpayers of Woodbridge Township?
Mr. Zimmerman, ma'am?
It's not been profitable, but it was profitable for the entire time it was open until COVID started, so it built up enough reserves to handle the decline due to the pandemic. So overall, the community center has been profitable.
Right, so my question was, you're saying that it has, and leading up to COVID, been profitable enough on its own revenue, not taxpayer subsidies, to actually have enough to cover the cost during this period of time?
Operational costs, absolutely, yes.
And is there a business plan in place to turn a profit in the other holdings of the taxpayers of Woodbridge, i.e. the Avenel Arts Center and the club?
The Avenel Arts Center we don't own, so I can't answer that. The club, there's no formal plan. It was very profitable. There's really no need for a plan short of COVID. It would still be very profitable. And the club itself was very profitable before COVID also, from the time we bought it on October 1st, 2018 till March of 2020. It was also incredibly profitable. So we think it's purely pandemic driven, and once things get completely back to normal, which hopefully is soon, we're not really worried that they won't be profitable again.
And my parting comment is, I'm just concerned that governments are notoriously not very good at running businesses because of things like political patronage. They can, and having taxpayers as an open spigot to subsidize, that over time the profit motive may not be kept in sight, and that we'd be left holding the bag, so to speak. So that's just a concern I want to put out there.
Well, I can assure you that all 4 businesses we run, and with other ones we're going to be running, all 4 were very, very profitable through early March of 2020. Okay. The club, the community center, the Avenel Performing Arts Center, and Curtin's Restaurant were all very profitable. I understand your concern, but I think we've done well running it mostly through the Recreation Department under their leadership, and the people we've hired, I think, do a very good job.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Job at Woodbridge. I want to go back to the so Proud Boys. What's happening in Europe now, I've been through this before myself, and I know for a fact, people like Proud Boys that happen in the United States, they be the one who'd fight for freedom. I don't know anybody else, especially this room, that mentioned before, that was stood up to it. They think changing something is going to be better. If you experience freedom, you don't want to lose it. That's all I'm going to say. But Mayor, I got a piece of this Oprah report on the Art Center. And as you know, I used to live in Avenel, and I was against the development over there. And I went through it briefly. The way I understand, you built the Art Center, put all the improvements on somebody else's property, which we don't own, you pay the rent on it, or you do or you don't, I don't know. And then you sublease it to the WAA. Why? If you're gonna build something, put all this money, we don't know how much you're talking about, how much money you put into it, and then you give it away to somebody else to run it. What happens if that business, so-called, in the future doesn't profit? How long will you take it to lose money on it? How long the people will stand for it? And the most important, if that ever gets out of business, so-called, what happens to the improvements that you put down that goes back to the landlord of the property? Does the landlord pay tax on the property? And how much do you pay to the landlord for the property? You pay the $550 for parking lot across the street, but how much you pay to the owner of the 150 Avenue Street?
The Avenel Arts Center and Curtin's Restaurant were about a $9 million investment, of which the county paid $6 million. The developer paid $1 million, and we paid about $2 million. We own the building, we don't own the land, we don't pay for the land, and the Arts Alliance don't pay us for it, so we're right in the middle. We don't pay it, we don't charge it. There's a commitment on the town to the arts. We are very, very committed to that, and this is the focal point of our arts effort. I see nothing wrong with the township investing something in the arts. The same way we invest in our recreation council. We give a lot of money to the Little Leagues and the sports leagues. The same way we invest in our senior clubs. And we invest in Cypress Recreation Center, and we invest in all kinds of things for our kids, our families, our seniors. The arts is one of them. The art gallery on Main Street is one of them. They are sensible investments for the success of the town, and I would submit that the Arts Center in Avenel has done wonders for that area of town. And since it's opened up, we've seen 5 other restaurants open up, and Route 1 has exploded with positive development, none of which I don't think would happen had we not invested that money in Avenel, had New Jersey Transit not added 38 stops as they said they would once we built it. We've got medical offices, a dentist, we've got restaurants up and down Route 1 and up and down Avenel Street. That's all worked because of our investment in the Avenel Performing Arts Center.
Another thing is, Studio Law said, I don't think it's moral of any government to go and compete against constituents of the town to go in the same kind of businesses that they run. You know, we talk about health spas, we talk about the restaurants, we talk about bars. Why are you going against the people of this town? They're paying the taxes, and you say you didn't make profit because there was COVID. All of us lost a lot of money because that. Nobody helped us, and we still had to pay our bills. We had to show the profit to stay in business. But why would you compete with somebody that's got a business before you did, and try to take away from him?
The Avenel Performing Arts Center is a
Probably they stay in business, they don't get afraid. Probably they know how to run it better than we do as a township. So
The Avenel Performing Arts Center
run
is
it
a
down,
theater.
But don't compete with the poor individuals that have to stay in the business.
There's no theater in Woodbridge for us to compete with except Avenel Performing Arts Center. We built the community center, we built an ice rink, there's no other ice rink in the town. We built the roller rink, there's no other roller rink in the town. We built a pool, an indoor track, there's none of them elsewhere in the town. We bought the club, we bought indoor tennis courts, we bought racquetball courts. There's none of them anywhere else in the town. So who are we competing with? Who are we hurting by these businesses that are great for our residents, our families, our kids, and our seniors?
Thank you, Mr. Patel. Time is up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any other comments this evening from the public? Hearing no other comments, can I get a motion that the public comment portion be closed?
Motion.
Second.
Any comments from council? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
At this time, we'll go to our agendas. Item number 1, second ward road projects. Our 2022 road paving programs have several streets in the second ward being upgraded. Each year, every ward has roads updated and are chosen after a site visit from engineering. I'd like to thank the administration for their ongoing support of this program. Item number 3, downtown parking and Fords. We have acquired a piece of property on New Brunswick Avenue for more downtown parking, beneficial to our residents and our local businesses owners. We are waiting on better weather so we can improve and pave this lot. Item number 6, the Ford's Business Community's annual Easter egg hunt will be on Saturday, April 2nd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Event starts at Sipperstein Paint, 372 New Brunswick Avenue. Meet the Easter Bunny, pick up a map of participating merchants, and visit their shops for free goodies. Item number 9 is Troop 53, Boy Scouts of America. They'll be holding their annual Blue and Gold Banquet on March 19th. This event marks the founding anniversary of the Boy Scouts of America and the Arrow of Light ceremony, where Cub Scouts cross over to a troop, the first step on the path to becoming an Eagle Scout. We'd like to congratulate all those receiving awards that day. For more information, contact me at 732-887-9796. I'd like to wish everyone a happy St. Patrick's Day. And this past Saturday, I had the opportunity to participate in the annual New Jersey State PBA Polar Plunge in Seaside Heights with our own Woodbridge Police Department. Over 6,000 people participated in this frigid event to bring awareness and ultimately raise money for the New Jersey Special Olympics. New Jersey is the only state that the athletes do not pay for participation in the Special Olympics program. And this is mostly due to the New Jersey law enforcement community. Exceeding their goal, nearly $2 million was raised on one day and will go toward programming and events for thousands of athletes statewide. I'd like to thank all those that participated that day for this great event. I'd like to say God bless our first responders, all our essential workers, and God bless America. Council Vice President Vaccaro.
Thank you, Council President. First, I'd like to start off with some activities at the Community Center. I mentioned at our last meeting this Saturday, March the 5th, is a Have a Heart Zoomathon. It's an opportunity to have some good, healthy recreation. and there is no fee for this event. This is a community program. I think this is something that Mayor McCormick was alluding to. A lot of our facilities are not just for profit, they're out there for the betterment of the community. So if you bring a non-perishable item, you can participate and have a Heart Zoomathon at the community center this Saturday, 9 to 11. Open public roller skating, Wednesday evening, 6 to 8:30, Friday, 6:30 to 9:30, Saturday, 12 to 5 and 6 to 8:30, and Sundays, 12 to 5. We also have learning to roller skate and inline skate, open public ice skating on Saturdays, 2 to 4, and you can also learn to skate with your hockey skills. All of this can be found on njwcc.com. Moving down to the COVID update, although we know that things are going in the right direction, we have a couple of clinics coming up this Thursday. It might be a little late for TV, but 4 to 6 for adults, and appointments are recommended. And then on March the 8th, from 4 to 6, this is for ages 5 to 11. Again, appointments are recommended. And most of us know by now that the New Jersey Department of Health mask mandate in schools K to 12 and in child care centers will end on March the 7th. And also the CDC has dropped mask mandates for public transportation on buses and trains. That's all I have, Council President. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Small.
Thank you, Council President. Number 19 on my agenda, the 48th Annual St. Patrick's Day Parade will take place March 13th at 1:30 p.m. Honorees this year are Charles Kenny, Grand Marshal, Karen Devlin, Irish Lady of the Year, Jim Latham, Irish Man of the Year, Sarah Alexa, Miss American Irish, and Victoria Gomez, Lady in Waiting. I just want to congratulate all the fire districts on passing their budgets, and all the re-elected and newly elected fire commissioners, congratulations. Thank you to all our first responders, all our township employees. God bless America, and say a prayer for the folks in the Ukraine. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman De Jesus.
Thank you, Council President. Moving down to item number 10, the Free Public Library of Woodbridge will offer New Jersey Makers Day programs all month, both in person and as a take-and-make event for all ages. Michael Norris and the Cloisters Museum and the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York will present The Whirl of St. Patrick at the main library on March 10th at 7 p.m. You can register for all library programs online or calling 732-634-4450, extension 5. Moving down to item number 19. Today is March 1st, which is the beginning of Women's History Month. And I'm happy to announce that this month we will be featuring on social media profiles of influential women in our township. We will also have a flag raising for Women's History Month, March 8th, in front of Town Hall at 5 p.m. Please feel free to bring all the women in your life, all the girls in your life, to celebrate Women's History Month. And the Gallery on Main will showcase women artists on social media periodically throughout the month as well. And I'm also very happy to announce that if Councilman Ficarra doesn't mind, Girls on the Run will soon take place in Woodbridge. That is a great program that introduces girls to running. My daughter participated when she was in 2nd grade, and that developed her love for running, and we will be giving you guys more details as they come along. That is all that I have, but again, please don't forget, March 8th for the flag raising for Women's History Month. Our first profile was of our councilmate Nancy Drum, and I'm very proud of that. And one other thing, we are doing a virtual Women's History Month celebration, Meet the Trailblazing Women of Woodbridge, and I had the privilege of interviewing women in education, government, police, and businesses. They were Sergeant Stephanie Anderson, Dr. Maria Giancarelli, Chief of Staff Colonel Elric, General Manager of Woodbridge Center Amy Belisano, my councilmate Debbie Meehan, and the Vice Chair of the Human Rights Commission, Patricia Osborne. And that is all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Spiller.
Thank you, Council President Bauer. Item number 2, Avenel Arts Village. Check out APAC's website at www.avenelarts.com, or you can stop by the theater for their programs. For all the great shows that are upcoming, Colonial native and comedian actor Jerry Palumbo visits Avenel Performing Arts Center on Friday, April the 1st. Jerry's been in the movie Beer League, along with several other movies, including The Family with Robert De Niro, numerous TV shows, including Boardwalk Empire. I think most of us know him or seen his show. It's very funny. There's only 10 seats available before they sell out for April the 1st, so they've added a second show on Saturday, April the 2nd. Just one comment on the theater and curtains. Obviously, it's everybody's constitutional right to ask questions, and it's God-given right. Everybody keeps talking about the theater and curtains. Up until COVID, it was rocking it out, hitting it out of the park. And unfortunately, just like every other municipality and entity, they suffered the setback of COVID. But you know, I live 4 houses away from LeGrand Park, and up until the entire project was about, I couldn't even have my kids play at the park. And because everybody wants to talk about curtains and APAC, well, it's more than that. It's 27 acres, and we have Station Village, and there's 496 townhouses and apartments. These are all residents that weren't here back in 2016. As the mayor alluded to, Hank at Avenel Pharmacy doesn't do what he does. We don't get Jersey boys. We don't get any of that without that project. So just just like every other municipality, it'll be back. And if people love to look at the ticket sales online 6 months and a year ago and say, oh, there's only 50 tickets. Well, I really wish they would look at it now, because some of our shows are sold out, 187, 167, 154. I can go on, but it's coming back, and I talk to my residents and neighbors every day. We're there all the time. Happier than a pig in you-know-what that the mayor visited my house back in 2007 and said, this is our vision, what do you think? So just a little comment on that. Item number 8, the Avenel Fire Department. 2 weeks ago, we experienced a huge fire and loss at Avenel Pools, excuse me, which brought in mutual aid from surrounding fire districts. Everyone knows Avenel Pools has been a staple, and ski shop has been a staple in Avenel, Woodbridge Township for almost 50 years. About 12 hours later, we had another fire where a female victim was found inside and was medevac to St. Barnabas Burn Center. Once again, we utilized several mutual aid fire departments for that. I just want to like to thank all the first responders that assisted us at both fires, all the mutual aid departments, and please keep the victims in your prayers. Item number 9, Fish Fry Fridays return at the Avenel Knights of Columbus, Columbian Club of Avenel this Friday, March 1st. Please come and enjoy all the dishes that are offered this year. Will be curbside again. You call 732-636-9615 to make your reservations. Dinners between 4:30 and 7:30. The rest of my agenda is in order, Council President. Thank you to all our emergency responders, fire, EMS, our Woodbridge Police Department, CERT, and all of our public works and township employees. God bless America. Thank you, Council President Bauer.
Thank you. Councilwoman Meehan.
Thank you, Council President. Mr. Tramador, I just wanted to address you. We were talking about the seniors and their need for food. St. James has a great pantry, and you can reach out to Peter Barcelona at the Health Department. We're just concluding have a heart food drive that we did this year. We've collected a lot of food. So there is a lot of food available, and we're always, I'm just going to tell you the information, okay? There's always stuff available. We have a great senior service, and after the meeting, I'd be happy to give you my email address, and I'll give you my contact if you have any seniors that need help. I would be happy to help them. Yeah. Going down to number 13 for domestic violence. The Woodbridge Township Domestic Violence Response Team is in need of volunteers to assist and advocate for victims of domestic violence. Due to the additional stresses associated with the COVID pandemic, the incidence of domestic violence has increased in the past 2 years. Volunteer requirements are a valid driver's license, completion of a 40-hour training course, 1 year of service consisting of 2 12-hour on-call shifts per month, and to attend monthly meetings and refresher courses. If you're interested in volunteering, you can reach out to them. They have a website at www.woodbridgedvrt.org, or you can reach them at 732-636-4500. And as always, please remember that if one of your loved ones is involved in a domestic violence or is in trouble, please call 911. Don't wait, or reach out to one of our trained volunteers. They're available 24/7. And you can reach them at 732-636-4500, extension 2902. And then just lastly, this Sunday, we are doing our 15th annual Woodbridge Charity Chili Cook-Off. You can sample the best chili Woodbridge has to offer. It costs $10. It'll be held right here on Main Street at JJ Biddings from 12 to 2, again this Sunday. And all proceeds will go to Jessica Beretta, a Woodbridge Township resident, a high school senior who was in a very bad car accident. So all our donations would be given to her. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilman Anderson.
Thank you, Council President. First of all, I apologize for my tardiness. This is a very busy time of the year for me right now as we're doing mid-year budget reviews and a lot of Q-sacking in the school districts. And as a result, I've missed the last two meetings, but also for some personal reasons. But I do want to thank Mr. Bobby Tominski, who is a new employee in our rec department, and he gave me a nice report regarding a lot of our sports. So regarding our winter rec basketball program, we're midway through the season, and we had over 850 kids playing basketball, boys and girls in grades K through 12. In addition to the weekly games, all games have been able to conduct weekly practices, giving kids a chance to play and learn more than we have in the past. Another outstanding aspect of this year's league is that the games were played in the lower rims over at Ross Street School and Woodbridge Middle School, so the students have a fair chance of making the shots. Regarding winter indoor rec soccer, we're running an indoor soccer league in our middle schools and at Woodbridge Community Center on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. The league consists of boys and girls ages 3 to 15, and we have over 300 kids playing. Upcoming in the spring, we have spring rec softball. Registration is currently open until March 1st, which is today. We have over 200 girls registered. Practices will begin at the end of March, and league play the second week of April. The league will run until the first week of June. Spring rec soccer, registration is open until March 1st. We have over 430 boys and girls registered, and practices will begin at the end of March and play till the second week in April, and the league will run until the first week in June, so that includes the playoffs. And then spring rec baseball, our first season of a consolidated season is going as planned. We met with all four leagues that are on that are very, very supportive of our new league and are actively working with us to the upcoming season in various capacities. Hope Lawn and its coaches are merging with the Perth Amboy, as well as over 90% of the league. And last year were Amboy athletes, but it's an easier move for all, and it was an amicable split. And we have close to 400 kids registered as of today. Registration also closes on March 1st. Spring rec volleyball. We're putting plans together to bring back rec volleyball for our township kids. It will also be for boys and girls. Ages are going to be determined based on the demand. And spring rec basketball, our highly popular outdoor rec league, will be back again at the Acadia Center and also on Pearl Street, open to boys and girls, and ages grades 3 through high school. The league will run May through June. So I want to thank Mr. Tominski for that report. When I was in high school, I remember complaining to our principal or vice principal at the time about not doing anything for Black History Month. And I remember I was going up the stairs and I saw a number of students that were not black putting together a Black History Month billboard. And after that, I never complained. I got involved. So I want to say that I was very proud of the Human Rights Commission, who put a very nice display in the hall out here for the entire month of February. 2 Fridays ago, myself, I was invited by the Human Rights Commission, which consisted of Ms. Patricia Osborne, my wife Denise Anderson, Gary White, and Chairman Glenn Morgan. And we had a Girl Scouts troop from Colonia who came out, and there were at least 20 Girl Scouts with their parents. And we held not only a tour, but a really nice educational environment for these students. They took a Friday night and came out, and it was really, really nice, and we got a lot of nice thank yous from them. And then the next day I bumped into them and I had to buy some Girl Scout cookies from them. So that was very, very nice. I do want to also congratulate our Woodbridge Township hockey. They won the county championship, our combined team. I don't know if they've been congratulated already, but I'd like to congratulate them for winning the county championship in fine fashion. They were 8-3 over Monroe. It shows that, you know, our public schools can compete against the privates in some sports. And I want to congratulate Madison Chiera. She was a 1,000-point scorer for Colonia High School. And I want to congratulate all of the high school basketball teams, but I want to wish Colonia High School boys and girls luck in their state playoff quest. As a part of my role 2 weeks ago, in conjunction with the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office, we held a youth bias task force, and that was held at Middlesex County College. We had students and faculty from South Plainfield. We also had 2 students from Avenel Middle School that came and offered their thoughts on youth bias itself. And it went very, very well. We live streamed it, and we had nice participation over the live stream, and we got a lot of nice compliments from the parents and the faculty members that attended that. It goes in a theme of what the Department of Education and the prosecutor's office has been working, because last week we had a school safety symposium. We've also been working on anti-gun and mental health. And this is for our students. I would like to thank the Woodbridge PD for attending the school safety symposium. It was well attended by over 17 superintendents throughout Middlesex County, and we did have some officers from Woodbridge PD that were in attendance there. In regards, I know I was out for the last couple of weeks. I did prepare a statement regarding Mr. Dombrowski's statement. So I've missed the last 2 council meetings because I was supporting family members that were doing something that they love. In doing so, I missed doing something that I love to do, and that is represent the people of Woodbridge Township, something I've done since 2011. Last week, an organization that I happen to be a member of, the NAACP, submitted a joint letter along with 2 other NAACP chapters that I and also a few local organizations endorsed that letter. That I, along with my fellow council mates and other elected officials, failed to denounce the hate group, the Proud Boys. This letter was also endorsed by 2 other local organizations. First, let me start by saying that in becoming the first minority ever elected to office in this township, I'm often thrust into a precarious position when it comes to race. In fact, that day, the day after I was elected, it caused quite a stir when a local reporter called my home to congratulate me and asked, what do I intend to do for the black people of Woodbridge? I naively answered the question as it was asked. When it hit the papers, I was quickly reminded by members of the community that I represent the entire township and not just the black residents. I thought this went without saying since I was an at-large council person, but the point was made. Over the last 10 years, I've been outspoken in favor of equity for all, marched on behalf of black lives, proudly reflected on black history, and founded a local organization focused on advocating change in our township. I also continue to push our township to advertise and seek diversity, especially with our first responders and our township school administrators. I've experienced racism, and I've spoken out against it. I've put it all on the line when it comes to fighting hatred: my job, my political, professional, and personal relations. Does hate have a home here? It absolutely does not have a home here. But I've earned that right to say it when I want to say it. And I don't want to speak for my council mates, but I will say this. We've all made some mistakes at times. And it has come at a cost. And though this may be an uncomfortable conversation, I will say that I've had that uncomfortable conversation with every one of my council mates. And we continue to do so because we're trying to understand. And sometimes some are afraid to say the wrong thing. And I know that it's very easy for some to say when there's no repercussion. There have been in the past. It's nice to know that when you say something, the people that are going to say something with you are going to be there with you when it is that time when you deal with those repercussions. So I want to thank all of you for having those conversations with me. I know that the public doesn't get to hear them, but I know where your heart lies. And as far as the general public and as far as the organization, I wish Donna would have reached out to me because for that letter to go out, knowing that I'm a member of that chapter and not have anything to say about it, I was hurt by it. I was hurt that I'm a member of that organization and that I went out. And it wasn't, when the question was being asked, it wasn't being asked as a person who was representing the NAACP. So if the NAACP wanted to weigh in on it, I thought that they would have at least reached out to us. They did through the letter, and many of us have responded. I know many of us have an opinion on it, but I just want to say I know when I can say it, and I don't have to be forced into saying it. I knew what those people were coming to say. They have the right to be at that microphone. I can't change that. If I come in and I say that I don't like that group, and then we make a decision down the road that impacts that group, then of course there's litigation against us because we've already now set a precedent and said, well, we already don't like that group, and something goes against them. But I just want to say, I have stood out. I've stood and I've said that hate has no home here. I don't feel that I have to be pushed by one individual just because somebody I see. I have bullies in my school. I had bullies in my school growing up, and when I see them today, I don't look at them and say, "Hey, I'm not afraid of you anymore." All right? That's the way I handle. Now I handle things strategically. I'm not going to get emotional. I'm going to handle things strategically. I'm going to do things smart, and I will act on it. I worked very hard to be in this position, very, very hard to be in this position, and I know that I've been helpful to our community, and I know that I fought for our community, and I know that I fight against hatred. I know that I do. And then have my name put in a letter saying that I'm afraid to say anything, or I'm not willful in saying anything, knowing that I have said things in the past. So it's hurtful when you belong to an organization and that organization comes out and it's people that I know that are trying. So that's all I have to say on that.
Thank you. Councilman Patel and Councilwoman McCall for excuse. Mr. Mitch.
Mr. President, just a couple quick comments. Under number 1B, I'm noting that from my agenda, you approved the new ownership of the liquor license this evening. Letter C, I'm going to continue to maintain that, but you did take a step on this evening also, so thank you for that, supporting the application and a waiver of one of the requirements. And letter D, finally, I'll be noting that as well for yet another ownership change in the liquor license. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you. Back to Councilman Spiller.
Thank you, Council President Bauer. I forgot, I had it right in front of me with the holiday coming up. Real quick, we got a great magician at APAC this weekend. There's only a few tickets left, but with St. Patrick's Day, it's March 1st, everything Irish, yay. They got a great Irish show when Irish Eyes Are Dying. It's a dinner show that is Thursday, St. Patty's Day, the 17th, 18th, and 19th. You can go on the website and check all the
Thank you.
things.
Mayor.
Thank you, Council President. I think the council's actually slipping. I got 4 events that were not mentioned tonight. I don't know why. Annie the Musical, perhaps this was because Vero's not here. Annie the Musical is being played this weekend, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 8 and Sunday at 12 at John F. Kennedy High School by their drama club. Councilman Small mentioned the Irish Parade, but once again, they started this last year. All of our 9 firehouses are receptacles for food donations for the next 10 days through March 11th, which is Friday. Saturday morning, the club will get in vans and go to each firehouse, pick up the food, and bring it to the health center. So they started that last year. They didn't have the breakfast or the parade, but they wanted to do something for the community, so they are doing that. The chili cook-off is this Sunday from 12 to 2 at JJ Biddings. Did anybody mention that? Oh, you did? Okay, I'm sorry. I just realized as I was saying that somebody did mention that because I remember you mentioned Jessica. And the last thing is Saturday, March 12th, Angel Paws has a fundraiser at APAC with a band called Decibels. The band is being paid for by donations, and they're going to make all the money themselves and use it for that cause. So this is another example of APAC donating its facility for the benefit of the town. So every time we pay a bill for them, it doesn't mean we have to expect them to cover it. It's a great relationship. They've made their facility available for camps, for the State of the Township address twice that day in January, multiple other times for school functions, poetry readings, plays, you name it, they're great. So the fact that we trade all these things is, to us, okay. And I just want to say to Lizbeth, Councilwoman De Jesus, if your Women's History Month is going to be as good as your kickoff today and all you accomplished today with your interviews and your postings, you go, girl. It was great. It was great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sorry, I just wanted to thank Mr. Haggerty and Megan Kushba for the Black History Month vignettes. I thought they were really well done, and I also appreciate that the township reached out to the public for them to submit names, so it wasn't just coming from us, that there were people that were being made an opportunity to be featured. So hopefully we continue that and we get some more submissions in the following year. Very well done.
Thank you. Director Hubbard.
Thank you, Council President. I have a number of traffic ordinance amendments. Thanks.
Give it back to Councilman Leanne. Councilwoman, sorry.
I just want to acknowledge our councilman here, Councilman Small. He received numerous awards last week for his 22 years of service to Port Reading Fire Department, and he's now retiring. He's done a lot for this community, and I just wanted to make sure everybody knew that. So, congratulations.
You all fit up here? Director Darden.
Thank you, Councilman. Standard bi-weekly refunds, thank you.
Thank you. Director Brewer.
Thank you, Council President. I have a few items for resolution. The first one is the release of the maintenance bond contract, 2019-009. The second one is a proposal for engineering and design, drainage improvements for Arthur Avenue, Jordan Road, and Temple Way. That's with the NIAC group. Next one is a purchase of a new 2022 auto car chassis with options, sanitation truck. The next one is a 2023, that's for 2 vehicles, another auto car side loader truck for sanitation. Next two are also sanitation related, is the bodies for the 2 auto cars and the front load container truck. And the last one I have, Council President, the purchase of a new track type loader dozer. That's all I have.
Thank you. Business Administrator Zibaluka, you saw Director Green's report.
Yeah, thank you, Council
Thank you.
President. Under Administration and Finance, I have a 100% disabled veteran and a vacation of Hart Street in Avenel. And under Health, I have a shared service agreement with Almeda for animal control services. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Legal.
Let me see the Council President.
Hey, before I make a motion for adjournment, I think I can talk for all of us up here on the dais and administration. This is coming from me, and I know my council mates are behind me 100% regarding this ongoing hate issue. There is no room for hate here in America. Hate divides us. Hate. And history has shown that it incites violence. I quote, "No one is born to hate. Hate is learned." Teaching our society to respect differences and celebrate diversity is essential to prevent the development of prejudicial attitudes. The First Amendment of the Constitution protects the freedom of speech, religion, and press. It also protects the right to peaceful protest and to petition the government. Rulings by the Supreme Court have decided that speech is free unless it incites imminent criminal activity or consists of specific threats of violence targeted against a person or group. No one, I state no one on this council or administration endorses hate or hate groups. Each person is different from the other. Remember one thing we have in common, that we are all different. If we could just respect each other, don't judge people based on gender, race, or sexual orientation, this world would be a better place to live. We as a township are demonstrating our commitment to all aspects of diversity and inclusion with a collective effort to build on an exclusive environment for all. So judge less and accept more. Thank you. Motion for adjournment.
Motion.
Second.